Hello there, my loves. Well, look who it is. It's me. I shouldn't be here, but here I am. I decided I'll dismantle the computer later today. Well, I don't know. I might leave it going for another day. I don't know. I can't resist it, my loves. It's the breathing heart of this channel and my life in general. So I'll keep it going to the bitter end. But yes, as you can see, the room has been gutted more or less. I've got a load of boxes on the side here you can't see. So I'm quite enclosed here now. But there we are. The move, though, will be happening tomorrow. I just thought I'd come on just to, I suppose, one last goodbye, I suppose. Although next Friday, there will be an official goodbye video that I made at the beginning of the week, kind of summing up the life of this channel, really, and moving on to greener pastures, hopefully. So, yes, that's something you can look forward to potentially. But after that Friday, I may not be around for, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. We'll have to see. But I'm going to get back into it a bit more slowly and take my time. Yes, but anyway, I've also got a bit of plague around me at the moment. I caught it off one of the dear children the other day, which is wonderful, in the car. Any malady that's going around the school ends up going into yours truly, and by a quirk of fate, which is not very nice at all, it happens to be on the eve of the move. Not that I'll be doing much of it myself, the heavy lifting, of course. I'm just directing everyone, but yeah, it's still a pain in the arse. But anyway, what else is there to talk about? Outside, you may be able to hear some disturbances. I mean, at the moment, so there are some gas workers outside doing some work for another property. But if any reminders were needed that it's time to move, it's all of the things that have been going on lately. I mean, the fucking neighbours are just as noisy as ever, the ones above us, the motherfuckers. But the other night, we were in bed. I was reading. Vanessa had already fallen asleep. I was reading. At the moment, I'm reading Stephen King's The Institute. There we are. That's what I'm reading at the moment, and I heard these two fellows, they sat on the wall outside our bedroom, and they were drinking cider, my loves, from glass bottles. I could hear it every time they funked down the bottle, and they were talking quite loudly. My wife sleeps through everything, and I was just simmering there, and I had visions of going out there completely naked with my golf club, but I managed to hold back on that. But anyway, I read until they fucked off. It took them a while, and as a parting gesture, no reason for doing this at all, one of them went around to the communal front door, and of all the buzzers they could pick, they chose ours and gave it one good press. Vanessa slept through that as well. It's quite amazing, but it scared the shit out of me. Anyway, they fucked off out of it. But yes, that's the kind of insalubrious fellows that can sometimes bimble around our way. As lovely as it is around here, there are some cretins around, usually off their tits on one thing or another. But this is the state of the world we're living in these days, my loves. I'm sure you've all sampled it wherever you might be living elsewhere in the world. But yeah, a couple of dear workmen out there. They apologise a couple of times because they sometimes they're blocking my driveway, and I got out of the car. And one of them said, "Oh, don't worry, mate. We're going to be off in a couple of hours." I said, "Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. We're actually moving tomorrow, so I was hoping you were all going to be away. All of this would be out of the way because we're going to be moving and all of that." And he said, "Oh yeah, we'll be gone by then." But anyway, we got to chatting, my loves, and as little as I like people out in the outside world normally, as you know, I am a bit of a recluse, a wizard who likes to stay within his abode of. Well, just in here, basically. But yes, I do like a chin wag, and we started wagging our chins. And I don't know, we got to talking about various things, and one of them was saying, "Oh, it was a hellish job. It's way worse than we thought, and we had to get some equipment from Saltash." And I said, "Saltash? That's where I grew up, my love." And he said, one of the other one's ears pricked up, and he said, you don't know any of the Maddocks, do you? And I said, well, I know. I used to know a chap called Scott Maddock, and he works for us as well. And so I only knew Scott briefly in primary school. Never seen him since, but always stuck in my mind. Yes, there we are. But yeah, then they were saying, I said, oh, it's really nice around here, but yeah, we're glad to be moving. There's some weird fuckers around here. One of the blighters stole my bike once, and I caught someone pissing on my door once, and various other things have happened in the past. And they kind of laughed and said, well, yeah, we see all sorts. The other day, I think it's when they were working back here, they said they were approached by a gentleman who said, they said he was off his tits on spice, which is used to be a legal high over here in Britain. I think it's a version of cannabis, but it's completely fucked. It's all chemicals and shit, and people smoke the devil. And he was off his tits on that, and he offered them a blowjob for a £5. He said, "There's a bush over there, £5." They didn't take him up on the offer. But there we are. I need to draw some money out, and coincidentally, I need to get a £5. I don't normally get cash, but I'm going to get a £5 later. Joking, of course, my loves. But then they told me another story. They were in a town of Totnes, which is also in Devon. It's a kind of bohemian town, actually. I used to like going there. I still do occasionally. And so, in towns in Britain, there's often signs there saying twinned with, and normally it's twinned with another European country, town in another country. So often it's France or Germany or Belgium, one of those, or anywhere in Europe, really. Sometimes further flung. Canada, I think I've seen that before. But in Totnes, they're twinned with Narnia. There you go. That gives you a flavour of the kind of place it is. Anyway, they were going through this town in the early hours, and they came across this man in his 60s, completely naked, standing in the middle of the road with a golf club, practicing his swing, my loves. And so they they said, "You all right, mate?" And this gentleman said, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I just took a tiny bit of acid just now, and I just thought I'd practice my swing." And they said, "You do know you're naked?" And he looked down and went, "Oh, bloody hell, I forgot about that," and went back and changed. Okay, so there we are. There's some strange happenings in the county of Devon, my loves. Beware if you choose this as your holiday destination. Most of it's fine, don't worry. Just don't go out after hours. I think that's the general rule. So the other thing I was going to say, I've got the plague. I think it's a mild form of malady. I've got a sore throat. It will go down into my lungs at some point, I'm sure. But unfortunately, I may have said this the other day, but my left hip went. That's fine now. Now my right hip's gone. Who knows what the hell's going on with my body? I'm still sure it's the bed that's give me a damn good thrashing every night. And so I think depending on where I'm lying, that's where it's throwing the punches. Because I woke up in the middle of the night 2 nights ago, and I was on completely the wrong side, and I think that's what's done it. But I can't control what I do in bed, my loves. I like to thrash around with my wand out, as you all know. What other thing? I mean, I'm trying to say as many things as possible before I say goodbye, I suppose. I do like having this conduit through which to communicate to my fellow wizards, so I thought I'd make the most of it today. I've been watching a lot of The X-Files. I've gone back to the original series, primarily for nostalgic reasons. I remember we all used to watch that, me and my brothers and sisters. So I was around 12 or 13, I think, when it came out, and absolutely loved it. And it still holds up pretty well, I think, watching it 30 odd years later. The writing is pretty damn sound, and the way it's filmed is quite good. It's quite filmic in the way the shot choices are used, and the editing and everything. There's just the occasional thing that lets it down. Special effects are slightly janky at times, but sometimes those janky effects are actually quite effective. I've just been watching, I'm halfway through one called Ice, and it's definitely a homage to Carpenter's The Thing, I would say. So it's set in a remote Arctic research station. They've been doing ice core samples, and they've retrieved a parasite, it would seem, that's causing everyone to go a bit bonkers, or making them all very angry. A really, really good episode, really enjoying it. The only thing that I think kind of, there's a bit of a jolt in that, of course, that it's a studio that they're bimbling around, obviously, but I think if the transition had been better, if they've been able to afford to just get them somewhere with a bit of snow so you can see them actually approaching this station more accurately, it would be great. What they've done is like a matte painting with a really crap layer over the top showing snow coming down, and then it goes straight into the studio. So that's the only bit that really jarred, but the acting is absolutely top notch. And of course, the simmering relationship, or the frisson of sexual tension between Mulder and Scully is present throughout, my loves. In fact, it was there in the very first episode. The two of them, and I know that this is part of the thing, will they, won't they, shag kind of thing, or fall in love perhaps. But it was there in the very first episode, and I know that's written into the fabric of the whole thing. But in the first episode, I thought the way they were looking at each other, there was something more there, my loves. They couldn't believe their luck. They'd both found a wonderful human being to be next to for the next however many years. Of course, it was a success, and they've run off no end of series since. And there's been some recent ones, hasn't there? So I'm hoping to get through them all and then get back on the wagon, so to speak, in current times. But there we are. That's what I've been watching. That's what I've been reading. What else? Is there anything else, my loves? No, I don't think there is. There's one other thing I suppose I could talk about. So one of the children that I drive, very, very high functioning autistic boy, he's become obsessed with radios, the radio shows, and he's got his own phone now. And so he's been calling in to go on to these shows. And he actually got on to 2 in the same day. So the national Radio 2, BBC Radio 2, he got on there. And that was this thing where the DJ, she'll call a random number and they've got to say a set phrase. This week it was, you've got to say, "Please, sir, I want some more from Oliver." But this boy, his phone was off, so she got his answer machine, whatever that was. I haven't heard it yet. So that was good. I think it's probably best that she didn't get to talk to him, really. I don't know how that would have played out. But then that same morning that he was gleefully telling me about this episode on BBC Radio 2, he got onto the local station, Radio X. So they broadcast from Exeter City. They've got a big coverage. I think a lot of people in Devon listen to that. And further afield, apparently it's quite a popular one. The DJ in the morning, it's called Matt something. He was previously with Heart FM, which is a national station. So he's very good. Oh my goodness, excellent DJ skill, shall we say. Plays fast and loose as well, my kind of DJ. But he got onto this. I'm there driving, and then suddenly this boy's talking on his phone. And yes, he's got on, my loves, and they have to answer a question posed by the DJ's mother. So the mother's got the question of the day, and it was what astronomy show in Britain was hosted by Sir Patrick Moore, blah, blah, blah. So I used to watch that. So it's called The Sky at Night. So I won't say his name. Hopefully I'll blank that out. He said, he's like, what is it? And I shouted back, "The Sky at Night," and he into the phone he said, "Silent Night." And so instantly the DJ said, "No, that's wrong." But then the DJ said, "Wait a minute, what did you say?" And by now I'd got him the right answer. He said sky at night, and so he let him win. So by winning, you get a spin of the wheel. It's a completely stupid thing, because every prize is the same, and it's a pen, my loves. But he was very happy with that, and I got a mention as well as my escort. So because the DJ said, you obviously didn't get that by yourself, who helped you? And so yes, my other name was mentioned, John. But yeah, there we are, my loves. Bit of action on the road. I've told him not to do any more of these because it was really distracting, but there we are. Is that it? I think that might be it now. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I'd just like to thank everyone who always tunes in on a regular basis. Thank you for being there for me throughout my life as it stands. Thank you to everyone who purchased paintings recently to clear the decks. I've sold, I think, 9 paintings. And accompanied them with various drawings of penises. I mean wands. So thank you to everyone who got a painting and a penis. And apologies to Shuffle, who I forgot. He's bought quite a few paintings from me now. He did some in the past and more recently, and I forgot to put a penis in, which is terrible. I'll have to remedy that. I'm thinking actually of providing a service. If you want a penis in the post, if you will, I might do a nominal charge. It'll be very cheap, my loves, and I'll send you a penis. There we are. Now, of all the ways I've tried to make my fortune, writing, this channel, painting, it would be interesting if I make my fortune sending penises through the post. But there we are. I'm scraping the barrel now. But it isn't to make money. It's going to be a nominal fee to cover the postage and a bit of my finger twirling. But yes, that's coming soon, my loves. Look out for it. Oh, we'll have to put it on the Discord or something. But anyway, that'll be later on when I've got more time at my disposal. The next time you see me, I will be next time you see me in recent times, will be in the new place. So that's something potentially to look forward to. Let's leave it there, my loves. I think I've rambled quite long enough. Thank you. Cheerio. And goodbye. One's up. Yes.